Good morning and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred on this date in years past, both recognized by other historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the smart device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Aoxander, and you are you. Today is Saturday, aka Saturday, June 10th, 2023. So let's jump into the history today, shall we? Starting off in 1190, we have the Third Crusade. Holy Roman Emperor Frederick I of Barbarossa drowned while crossing the Salem River in modern Turkey, leading an army to Jerusalem. Alright. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. I think there were multiple accounts, actually. I think, I'm not sure if this is the same one, but I remember there was, one king or something. He was clad fully in armor, and he tried to cross the river, and he drowned. But, this sounds like, the same one. Yeah, well, maybe it is. The Holy Roman Emperor, Frederick I, Barbarossa. So, maybe it's the same one. I don't know. Anyway, moving on up to 1194. Major fire at Chartres Cathedral in France led to it rebuilt as the high point of French Gothic style. Alright. Let's take a look at that here, actually. Chartres Cathedral. So, let's see here. And let's get an image up here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the high Gothic style. Really, really cool. It is a cathedral with cathedral-like properties. That's cool. Looks like a stained glass. Anyway, moving on up to 1358, French Jacquerie peasant, Jacquerie peasant led Guillaume Cail captured at the Battle of Mello. It sounds like a peasant rebellion. They captured their leader. 1502, Crimean Khan defeated the Great Horde in battle near Warskala, which led to the disintegration of the Great Horde. Well, goodbye, Horde. Moving on up to 1538, Catholic German monarchy signed League of Nuremberg in response to the formation of the Protestant Schmalkaldic League. Alright. So sounds like some guild wars going on right there. 1 year later, 1539, we had the Council of Trent. Paul III sent out letters to his bishops, delaying the council due to war and the difficulty the bishops had traveling to Venice. Alright, well, that makes sense. 1540, Thomas Cromwell was arrested in Westminster. Yep, good old Thomas Cromwell. That name is in my brain for some reason. He served as chief minister to King Henry VIII of England from 1532 through 1540, so 8 years. And this is, I guess is the end right here. He got arrested. Moving on up to 1605, we have false Dmitry I, an impostor, was crowned Russian Tsar. He ruled from this point until 1606. So, I wonder if, they actually resolved it, or what? So, because, he could have, died from natural causes or in battle or something. He could have actually been acting like a good ruler. I don't know. But if anybody wants to, go down the rabbit hole of information about this event, please let us know what your findings are in the comment section below. 5 years later, 1610, we got the first Dutch settlers arrived from New Jersey to colonize Manhattan Island. Yep. Before it was Manhattan in New York, it was New Amsterdam. It was colonized and made by the Dutch and taken over by the English. At 1639, we have the first American log cabin at Fort Christina, which is in Wilmington, Delaware. All right. What else do we have? 1652, in Boston, John Hull opened the first mint in the United States. Well, in America, not the United. Well, before the United States. So the first mint in America ever. So 30 years later, on the dot, 1682, a tornado in Connecticut uprooted a 3-foot diameter oak tree. Whoa. That's concerning. We just talked about a rare tornado in Pennsylvania yesterday. So, and just like Pennsylvania, I know somebody who is out in Connecticut. So it's just like, hey, you guys got weird weather there too sometimes. 1692, the first victim of the Salem witch trials, Bridget Bishop, was hanged for witchcraft in the colony of Massachusetts. It begins. 1720, Mrs. Clements of England marketed the first paste-style mustard. All right. Cool, cool. Without that, hot dogs would have never been the same. 1752, Benjamin Franklin tested the lightning conductor with his kite flying experiment. Yep. The famed discovering if lightning is electricity experiment with the kite, the key, and all that stuff happened today. What else do we have? 1760, New York passed the first effective law regulating practice of medicine. Ooh, that's pretty big. 1768, British customs officials seized John Hancock's ship, the Liberty, on the suspicion that Hancock had illegally unloaded cargo without paying duties a month earlier. Yep, there's a thing around that. John Hancock, a true patriot. True patriot. You know, that guy should be admired. We also have 1786, sorry. Just flip the last two digits around. A landslide dam in the Dadu River caused by an earthquake 10 days earlier had collapsed, killing 100,000 people in the Sichuan province of China. Yikes. Then in 1793, the first public zoo opened in Paris. Cool. All right. 1801, Tripoli declared war on the U.S. for refusing tribute. What, they were demanding us tribute them? What? Come on, Tripoli. Get your act together. 1805, First Barbary War. The Tripolitania agreed to peace in war with U.S. over the latter's refusal to make tribute payments. U.S. pays ransom for release of prisoners and lifts naval blockade. Huh, well that didn't work out the way I thought it would. But cool. All right. And we also have, while that was happening, this seems to be a tie-in here. First Barbary War is 1805 as well. Yusuf Karamanli signed a treaty ending hostilities with the U.S. All right, so I'm glad that we came to an agreement. Moving on up to 1809, we have the first U.S. steamboat to make an ocean voyage left New York for Philadelphia. All right. 20 years later, 1829, the first Oxford and Cambridge University boat race took place, and Oxford won. Cool, cool. 1838, Myall Creek Massacre in Australia. 28 Aboriginal Australians were murdered. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Now, Jackson's potty-mouthed parrot. Okay, what is going on here? This is a whole paragraph here. 1845, Andrew Jackson's African gray parrot, Pull, was removed from his funeral for swearing at the Hermitage in Tennessee. Federal attendee William Menifee Normant recorded, before the sermon and while the crowd was gathering, a wicked parrot that was a household pet got excited and commenced swearing so loud and long as to disturb the people and had to be carried from the house. Yikes! What the hell was he saying around his parrot? Andrew Jackson, you absolute nut job. 1846, Robert Thompson obtained an English patent on a rubber tire. You know, for wheels. All the way in 1846, I guess, you'd make a rubber tire for carts, to alleviate them from breaking down too much. Now, anybody who's played the Oregon Trail knows just how much of a pain in the ass a broken axle is. So, 1847, Chicago Tribune begins publishing. All right. 1 year later, in 1848, we got the first telegraph link between New York City and Chicago. Cool. I wonder if the Tribune was starting to get information pumped in from headquarters in New York. Well, probably not headquarters, but like a news source. I don't know. Anyway, moving on up to 1854, German mathematician Bernhard Riemann proposed that space is curved. Yeah, I believe it is. 1854 as well, the first class of the United States Naval Academy students graduate. All right. 3 years later, 1857, Britain passed an act putting Canada on the decimal currency system. Interesting. 1863, Battle of Breeze's Crossroads, Mississippi. 3,500 troops, led by Confederate Nathan Bedford Forrest, defeated a federal force of 8,000. Wow. The feds outnumbered them and still lost. Yikes. Let's see here. 6 more years later, in 1869, Agnes arrived in New Orleans with first ever shipment of frozen beef. Cool. I guess the Agnes was a ship. So, what was the Agnes actually? Let's look this up here, because it could have been like a train in 1869. Yeah, they had trains. So, let's just go to images here. Yeah, it looks like it was a ship. So, we have a train here. but I believe it's a ship. Anyway, let's move on up here. We have 1882. Anti-colonization mass society of Alexandria, Egypt, killed 50 Europeans. That's not nice. I mean, Europeans really should get out of there and not colonize them. So, we have just been joined by...
Hey, Golden Loon.
Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Doing all right. It was rather lonely until you got up here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I don't know. I guess people have better things to do.
Well, I mean, what's going on the dates today?
Oh, well, we're up into 1882. Actually, no, 1886 here. Well, we've already covered quite a bit. We have a 17-page script, and we're just now getting into page 6.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, a lot of stuff actually happened today. A lot of stuff. 1886, the eruption of the Tarara volcano destroyed famous pink and white calcium carbonate hot spring terraces in North Island, New Zealand. All right, well, let's see here. Famous pink and whites. Let's see if I can find an image of these. If there was a photograph of there. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. The pink and white. So there's like terraces that look like this, and now they're destroyed. I guess these are the remnants.
I have no idea.
Yeah. No, this is Yellowstone. Never mind.
Oh.
But that gets the point across.
Yeah.
So, but what else do we have? 1898, U.S. Marines land in Cuba during the Spanish-American War.
Ah.
Yep. Right there.
That's a good shot.
That's Teddy with his Rough Riders.
That is actually Teddy Roosevelt?
In the middle right there.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
Theodore right there. Yeah.
And he invaded Cuba with him? Him again?
Well, I don't know why exactly. Like maybe this was during his term as president, but before and even after his presidency, he was like a rough and tumble cowboy type of guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, actually, and I wish someone was here to confirm this, but I think he actually had boxing matches in the White House.
Oh yeah.
Like bare knuckle boxing matches. Just come fight the president. You know, like I do say, young chap. How about thee?
Well, I believe he was pretty instrumental in a lot of the, actually a land grab of the government to preserve a lot of the natural beauty out west. I think he was a huge influence on that.
Maybe. And actually, let me adjust. Now it should be able to pick us up because there's like anodes or something in here. Like Carrera was talking to me about this. Helping me with my new mic, which by the way, got a new mic, guys. But there's a setting where like it can either focus on the front, or focus on the front and back, or like focus on. Well, there's 4 settings.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, is it not picking me up well, or what?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it was, but like now it will. It should.
Okay.
Like because now it's focused on 2 bubbles in front of it here, so you and me.
2 bubble heads.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back into history here, in the year 1900, in China, a relief column of some 2,000 men set out from Tientsin to relieve the foreigners trapped in Peking. That sounds like what was it? The Opium Wars or something like that? When were the Opium Wars? Hold on a second. When were the Opium Wars? 1839. Well before this. Never mind. Well, there was some kind of conflict happening. I don't remember which, but there's some kind of Shino something going on. I don't know. Anyway, 2 years later, 1902, patent for a window envelope granted to H.F. Callahan.
A window envelope.
What's a window envelope?
Yeah, so you slip your address in it from your bill or whatever it is.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's kind of funny. That's why I'm, that little thing, but it's used everywhere today.
I thought it was something to do with an actual window in a wall.
No.
What does that mean? Like you're folding it, packing it away? How do you pack away a window?
I mean, that's so awesome. It's somebody got a patent on a window envelope.
Yeah. I mean, everything had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And things that we take, not necessarily for granted, but we just don't give it a second thought. It's just when did this start?
Got his patent today.
Yeah, back in 1902.
Over 100 years ago.
101. Actually, 121? 121 years ago.
Yeah.
Dang. Moving on up to 1905. The first forest fire lookout tower placed in operation at Greenville, Maine.
Ooh.
So, like, you know those spawning towers they have just out in the wilderness?
Yeah.
Now, speaking
Looking
of
for fire.
fires, you know about the fire the fires raging in Canada?
Yeah.
I've seen a video from Benny Johnson, and I'm not sure if you know who that is, but
No.
I've been recently educated onto him like a couple weeks back. But satellite images, all the fires start at the same time. Something's weird. This seems like you know, they're probably going to use this as a tool to push more of this climate change agenda, like, and they very much like with all the other topics that these politics today have. There's the supply does not meet the demand, so they have to make the situation in order to cause it to validate themselves.
What you're saying, and I'm only taking it to what you're saying. I don't really know a lot about the starts of the fire and everything.
Yeah.
But if they started all at once, that takes a massive amount of people. If they start boom, bada boom, bada boom, during the days or days to come, then it can be one firebug out there going around starting.
No, it's a satellite image, and you see like all the plumes when they're just starting. All the plumes, they're all equal in length, and they're all like all at once. Boom, like within an hour. Boom, like something was coordinated. Like so, but
that
anyway.
Have to be.
Yeah, well, I want to show you that video actually after this show here, if you don't mind. Well, let's get back into the history here. Moving on up to 1907, France and Japan signed an agreement to maintain the independence and integrity of China, equality for all nations in trading with China, and the status quo of the Far East, or in the Far East.
Wait a second. France and Japan sign a treaty.
Yeah. Well, France was heavily prevalent in Southeast Asia.
Okay, but why are France and Japan signing something about China?
Because Japan wants China. And France is coming in, and France is taking over because they probably by now have are starting to take over Vietnam. And those because Vietnam.
Okay, yeah, true.
But Japan, it's like licking its chops, at expanding. Well, not at this current point in time. They actually just not too long ago, in 1907. Not too long prior to that, they finally modernized and opened themselves to the world. They were isolationists, but they realized that the rest of the world around them was advancing, trading, sharing ideas, and getting higher
China
level.
Was very closed.
Yeah, well, Japan was extremely closed.
Yeah.
And it actually took an entire the whole nation had to have a whole uprising and all that stuff in order to make them not so isolationist. Otherwise, eventually somebody would come and take them over, and you have a whole bunch of samurai versus a bunch of people with machine guns. Who's going to win? You got to up your game if you're going to stay relevant on the world stage. So which they did. And they did remarkably because then by the 20s they're already invading China.
Yeah.
So yeah. Then 1908, the first flying club, Aeronautical Society of New York, opens. But now that I think about it, going back to this thing with France and Japan, France is already laying claims to things in Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Japan, might be looking to expand or something. So maybe Japan, I don't know the exact history. So I'm probably most likely talking out of my rear end right now, but to me it seems that that France is talking with Japan because they just recently opened themselves up to the world, and they're like, hey, if you're going to expand, let's work together so we don't expand into each other's future territories or whatever. Politics. I don't know.
It's hard to determine what that's all about.
Yeah. Well, if anybody would like to go down that rabbit hole, viewers, please let us know anything of your findings in the comment section. So there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would like to know as well, but we have a show to do. We can't, just...
You're right.
Yeah. Anyway, 1908 as well, the Australian Parliament passed the Invalid and Old Age Pensions Act, providing for pensions for British subjects, excluding Aborigines at age 65.
Invalid, not valid. Invalid.
The invalid, yeah.
That's the opposite of valid.
Well, yes. You are correct. I didn't say invalid?
You said valid.
Oh. Okay.
Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, 1911, Queen Wilhelmina opened Rembrandt House in Amsterdam. Oh, yeah. Hildy, get the broom.
Get the broom, Hildy.
Yeah.
It's a sweep.
Yep. 1916, Great Arab Revolt began against ruling Ottoman Turks. 365 days later, 1917, 60,000 people at Petrograd in Russia welcomed Prince Kropotkin, who was banned for 41 years, returning after the February Russian Revolution. All right. So he was banned for 41 years, or was later banned for 41 years. I don't know. That's confusing.
Well,
because like this
I
is,
was thinking he returned, but you know.
Yeah, well, this is before the Soviet era, anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess he was banned by the Tsar.
When did the Bolsheviks come in?
Like 1917, 1918, like right at the tail end. Because all the people of Russia were, because
it was after World War I.
No, they had their revolution during the First World War.
It was during it.
It was actually, I don't know the exact semantics, but I do know that Lenin overthrew the Tsar with the promise to get Russia out of the war, which he did. Like, because World War I started as a two-front war for Germany. They had an Eastern Front, they had a Western Front. This is why I said what I said the other day about Hitler being an idiot. But as I said, the Russian people were tired of the war and everything, so they overthrew the Tsar. Lenin talked with Wilhelm III, and got the Russians out of the war. They ended it right there, and then Russia went on to have their Soviet Revolution and all that stuff, yada yada.
Okay.
Like the whole land and bread for the people and all that stuff. Actually, I refer to this a lot. History bombs. World War I. I want to show this video to you after the show, if that's all right. I know there's another video I wanted to see. Oh yeah, Benny Johnson fires. I'll find it. Anyway, let's get back into the show. 1924, we got the first political convention broadcast on radio. Republicans at Cleveland.
Oh,
yeah.
On radio.
Yep. 1925, the inaugural service for the United Church of Canada, a union of Presbyterian, Methodist, and Congregationalist churches held in Toronto Arena. All right.
In the arena, my.
Yeah. 1931, Norway occupied East Greenland. Okay. that was weird. What was going on there?
Yeah.
Oh. And then, welcome to the show, Rhombus. I assume you're either... you can talk. How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Many things. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Well, we are still at the show here. We got 1932. First demonstration of artificial lightning in Pittsfield. Lightning. Yeah, lightning. In Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
Artificial.
Yeah. I thought it meant lighting, but artificial lighting came not too long before that. But lightning. That sounds like a Tesla coil.
Wow.
Maybe Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
Like that's around his time. So maybe this was Tesla. Oh.
Yes, it could very well be.
Yeah. Would you like to take a few?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
In the year 1933, Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker flipped their car into a ravine. Parker suffers serious third-degree burns from the accident, which would affect her for the rest of her life.
All right. Let me play the world's smallest violin for the bank robbers.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of bank robbers.
Them wrecking. My reaction.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I have a thing for that. All right. The loon needs to go for a quick little walk or something, so he may or may not be back. Thank you for joining. Yeah. Anyway, what else do we have in 1933?
Oh, also in 1933, John Dillinger, depending on the pronunciation. That all depends on perspective. Robs his first bank in New Carlisle, Ohio. He takes $10,000 or
10,600.
$10,600.
Yeah, I don't know why there's a space there. Let's see here. That's 1933.
Yeah, I was fairly zoomed out.
It would be the equivalent of what? No, that can't be 14,000. No. Oh, no, 10,600. Oh, hold on a second. Why is it not? Okay, I have 10,600. Hold on a second. $240,156.35 today. That's a pretty good haul. So
yeah, that is. Yeah, that's a house worth. That's a house worth of robbing.
That's $250,000. You know, that's around what you get, you know, from Heist and GTA. So
yeah.
What else do we have here? 1934. This one.
Oh, in 1934, the USSR and Romania reestablished diplomatic relations.
Huh. All right. 1 year after that, in Akron, Ohio, Dr. Robert H. Smith, Dr. Bob from Akron, and Bill Wilson from New York City form Alcoholics Anonymous. Date of Smith's last drink. Cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Bob.
Not to be confused with Dr. Bob, the SCP, you know, YouTube channel. So.
It's funny. I had a doctor that we called him Dr. Bob. It wasn't even my doctor; it was my dentist.
I don't remember when or where, but a while, like years ago, I was in some you know, doctor office area, and one of the doors said Dr. Tran. Like, yeah. If you know that from that internet series from Monjo Media or something.
Oh yeah,
the little Asian kid cartoon thing, yeah. Dr. Tran is kicking your ass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, we also have 1940. Canada declared war on Italy. That's weird.
Huh.
And while that was happening, 1940 as well, Norway surrendered to Nazi Germany after 62 days of fighting. Well, they lasted a while. They lasted longer than Poland. So,
yeah, longer than France too.
Yeah, well, that's not really much of a bar. But anyway, speaking
France only lasted like 2 days.
We have an execution.
Ooh.
1942. Speaking of the Nazis, they kill all inhabitants of Ladice, Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia, which is now Czech Republic, which had been implicated in the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich, Nazi controller of Bohemia and Moravia, to, quote, teach the Czechs a final lesson of subservience and humility, end quote. Over 170 adult men were executed by firing squad on site. Women and children were sent to concentration camp gas chambers, and the village was burned down and plowed over. Yikes! Wow!
Yow!
Wow! Whoa! Blah, blah, blah. I can't, like, dude, seriously, that is, like, evil, like, that is Hollywood level, like, supervillain stuff, right? Holy crap, dude.
That is dark.
Yeah. I don't know how to express myself to that. That is, like, holy shit.
Jeez, that was, that was dark. Very dark place.
Well, let's go to you now, Mr. Rhombus.
In 1943, FDR becomes the first U.S. president to visit a foreign country during wartime.
That's right. I believe he visited France. Actually, no, not France. The UK. Sorry. France was under German control. I misread the year. I'm sorry.
German plus.
But the very next one here.
Germany, the annexed Germany.
Huh.
Anywho, also in 1943, FDR signs withholding tax bill into law.
Huh. I wonder what that is. Withholding tax bill. Withholding tax is a set amount of income tax that an employer withholds from an employee's paycheck Employers remit withholding taxes directly to the IRS in the employee's name. The money taken is a credit against the employee's annual income tax bill. Okay, whatever that means. Like,
essentially, they hold a certain amount from your check. Like they keep it for themselves. Not really, but they keep it for the IRS. And I know better. I'm not stupid. They actually just keep it for themselves. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I know full well the IRS doesn't get that money.
Yeah.
Because they're greedy and they want their own money back. And it's like, then pay me the full. Then stop taking taxes.
Yeah.
It's like they make enough money as it is. Anywho.
Look at this guy with his dippy little haircut. Look at that. He looks like somebody you would shove in a locker in their high school days.
That guy gives off he has the head shape of a bald guy, but has a little bit of hair on there. Anywho, in 1943, Heinrich Himmler. Is that? Yeah, Himmler.
Yeah.
Orders the final liquidation of Lodz Ghetto in occupied Poland.
Yeah, it says right there, Heinrich Himmler was the leading Nazi and Reichsführer of the SS. He was essentially on par, maybe even higher than Hitler himself. This guy was wicked.
Yeah.
Not good.
Either that or his right-hand man.
Right-hand man in the least. If there is any position closer than that, he would occupy it. So.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Moving up to 1944, Nazi forces carry out a massacre of 642 civilians in the French village Oradour-sur-Glane. Yikes.
Ooh.
And for the sake of time, we're actually going to start only going through the highlighted ones. There's quite a bit here. We have a 17-page script. We're only at 9 pages in, so we're just at half. And we're already at 11:33. And I plowed through a good chunk of this, by myself before the loon and then you came in. So we just got to start plowing through these. Moving on up, 1957, John Diefenbacher, C, I guess a centrist or something, elected Prime Minister of Canada.
Oh wait, C. What would the C be? I think wouldn't C be just for Canada or?
Well, no, that's. Usually it's R or D for Republican or Democrat. So this is a centrist political party. What was his political affiliation? Trying to see. First Canadian. He appointed the first female minister in Canadian history to his cabinet. Okay. But yeah, it says C. Hold on a second. What's his name? John Diefenbacher. Let's look this guy up here real quick. Party. Progressive Conservative Party of Canada. Okay, so conservative. All right.
Okay.
That's what C means. We also have 1959 MLB Cleveland Indians Rocky Colavito hits his 4 home runs in 11-8 win over the Orioles in Baltimore. All right.
Ooh. That's really good there. 4 homers in one game. That's impressive. Wow.
Yeah. And 1963, the U.S. Equal Pay Act was signed into law by President John F. Kennedy. And what is the semantics of this Equal Pay Act? You may ask. Blah, 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 blah. The Equal Pay Act of 1963 prohibits sex-based wage discrimination and requires that men and women in the same work establishment receive equal pay for equal work in jobs that are subsequently equal and performed under similar working conditions. Well, yeah, the wage gap is all a lie. It's based off of a number when you don't add a certain thing in, and I just totally screwed up. What?
Even the law.
You're glitching out there. Hello? All right. Anyway, I forgot that the music wasn't going. Rhombus appears to be having some technological difficulties, so while he fixes that, I'm going to take us up to 1966. Janis Joplin played her first gig with Big Brother and the Holding Company at Avalon Ballroom in San Fran, California. All right. An event of interest here in 1968, the American League games at Baltimore and Chicago were postponed, honoring Robert F. Kennedy. Yep, that's right. He was assassinated recently in that time. We also have 1972. Elvis Presley recorded a live album at New York City's Madison Square Garden. All right. I wonder, like you know how like you record albums in the studio? Was he? I think there are like auditorium album recordings and such. So that's cool. We also have a number 1 on the charts, 1972, Sammy Davis Jr.'s cover of The Candyman by Anthony Newley and Leslie Bricusse from the film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Went on to number 1 in the charts, his biggest single. Oh, the Candyman can, who can make the sun shine. So, yep. Anyway, let's see here. We have 1974. Philadelphia Phillies slugger Mike Schmidt hit a ball off public address speaker hanging from Houston Astrodome roof. Whoa. That's interesting. 1977. James Earl Ray, Martin Luther King's killer, or Martin Luther King Jr.'s killer, escaped from prison. Not good. And what else do we have here? Let's see. Moving up into 1978. Well, let's stick to the plan here. 1981, Pete Rose tied Stan Musial's National League record of 3,630 hits. All right. Yada yada yada. Belmont State, tennis. Who cares about tennis? 1990, Peruvian general elections novelist Mario Vargas Llosa, head of the Democratic Front, lost to Alberto Fujimori, heading Cambio 90 in the second round. All right, and let's move on back into our my secondary script here. Let's see. Yep, 1990. Burger King began using Newman's own salad dressing. Okay. 1990 as well. Detroit Pistons defeated Trailblazers for the first time since 1974 in Portland. Actually, I don't know what I need. I'm getting hungry, so let's get back to just reading the highlighted ones. Sorry, viewers, I'm ping-ponging a little weirdly here. I haven't eaten today. My head's just kind of woo. Anyway, 1991, David Lynch's Twin Peaks final episode aired on ABC TV. Don't care about that. 1996, Intel released the 2000 MHz Pentium chip. Cool. Same year, 1996 as well, variety talk show The Rosie O'Donnell Show, hosted by Rosie O'Donnell, premiered. All right. And 1997, Khmer Rouge leader Pol Pot ordered the killing of his defense chief, Son Sen, and 11 of Sen's family members before Pol Pot fled his northern stronghold. Now, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and end the show here and now because I'm my brain is not working right now. But I implore you, please go to the underbar of the description below for links to, this source, in our various other sources. There's stuff that happens every day in history that is just phenomenal. Maybe I should have just taken a day off. It's been a couple of days since I've done that. So anyway, that'll conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For your dose of Passive Events Daily, we stream every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!